The iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max are taking the spotlight in 2024, reversing a previous trend that favored the non-Pro models. This insight comes from JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee's Apple Product Availability Tracker, now in its third week, which shows some significant shifts in demand for Apple's latest iPhone lineup. Let's talk about lead times first. If you're not familiar, lead times refer to the number of days between when a product is ordered and when it's actually delivered to the customer. For the iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus, lead times are shrinking. Specifically, the lead time for the iPhone 16 base model has dropped by 7 days, and for the iPhone 16 Plus, it's down by an impressive 11 days from the second to the third week of availability. How does this compare to last year? When the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus launched, their lead times only dropped by 1 day between the second and third week. That's a huge difference, signaling that demand for the non-Pro iPhone models this year isn't as strong as it was in 2023. While the non-Pro models are seeing shorter lead times of Pro models, iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max are holding steady. This is a clear indication that demand for these higher-end models is robust. In fact, last year at this time, the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max saw their lead times decline by 7 and 9 days, respectively. The fact that the iPhone 16 Pro models haven't seen any such drop suggests that consumers are gravitating toward these versions more than ever before. After an initial surge in demand for the non-Pro iPhone 16 models, interest seems to be tapering off. However, the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max are picking up momentum, outperforming their non-Pro counterparts in the weeks following their release. Chatterjee's tracker doesn't just focus on the US market, although it's worth noting that the US accounts for about 32% of iPhone shipments. In the States, lead times for the iPhone 16 Pro models have stabilized, while the non-Pro models have seen moderate reductions in lead times. In China, which represents around 20% of global iPhone shipments, the trend is similar. The iPhone 16 Plus has experienced a sharp drop in lead times, while the iPhone 16 lead times have also decreased moderately. Meanwhile, the iPhone 16 Pro models have maintained stable lead times, indicating stronger demand in this market as well. Europe is showing a similar pattern in Germany and the UK, each accounting for about 5% of iPhone shipments. Lead times for the iPhone 16 non-Pro models are moderate, declining, while the Pro models are holding their ground with stable lead times. So what's driving the shift in demand? One possible explanation is the significant battery life improvements in the iPhone 16 Pro Max. There's been a lot of talk about how this year's Pro Max model offers a noticeable jump in battery life, and it seems consumers are responding to this feature. Now, and there's a stronger pull toward the Pro models this year. This marks a reversal of last year's trend when the non-Pro models were more in demand. Now it's the Pro models, particularly the iPhone 16 Pro and iPhone 16 Pro Max, that are holding steady and gaining momentum as more consumers opt for the premium features and longer battery life that these devices offer. If you're considering upgrading your iPhone, this might just be the year to go Pro. Whether it's the improved battery life or the array of advanced features, the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max are shaping up to be the most sought-after models in Apple's 2024 lineup. That's it for today. What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments. As always, see you in the next video. iPhone 16 Pro Max will succeed the iPhone 15 Pro Max and take on the mantle as the best and most advanced iPhone out there. Although there's plenty of time until September and a lot can change, we seem to know a lot about the upcoming top iPhone model based on rumors and leaks. How is the iPhone 16 Pro Max shaping up against its predecessor? What's changing and what's staying the same? Let's see how the iPhone 16 Pro Max shapes up against the current best iPhone Apple has in its roster. First up, let's talk about design and size. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will inherit the same design language as the iPhone 15 Pro Max, employing the same titanium frame with a completely flat screen. The major difference between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the iPhone 15 Pro Max will be size. The upcoming iPhone screen will grow to 6.9 inches across, a significant bump over the iPhone 15 Pro Max's 6.7-inch display. To achieve this, they're likely shrinking the bezels down even further and making the phone itself slightly larger overall. As per the rumors, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will measure 163mm in height and 77.58mm in width versus 159.9mm and 76.7mm for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, respectively. A small but notable change, all things considered. The iPhone 15 Pro Max debuted with an action button instead of a mute switch and a USB Type-C port at the bottom, so those two features will be carrying over to the newer model as well. However, the iPhone 16 series will be scoring another button, dubbed the Capture button. Colors-wise, the iPhone 15 Pro Max was available in 4 understated and titanium-inspired colors. We've heard that Apple might use another titanium processing technique that will make the iPhone 16 Pro Max glossier and also more capable of retaining colors. Moving on to display differences. As mentioned, the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come along with a significantly larger display, measuring at 6.9 inches across. Aside from the size, when you don't clearly expect any other major changes, we're certainly getting a liquid Retina XDR display with an OLED panel delivering superb colors, contrast, and exceptional maximum brightness. The screen will support 120Hz ProMotion refresh rate, making scrolling through the interface and on-screen content way smoother. Now let's delve into performance and software. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will feature a second-generation 3nm chip, possibly dubbed Apple A18 Pro. As one can imagine, we expect that the Apple A18 Pro will have better performance than the Apple A17 Pro. Due to the heavily rumored focus on AI for both iOS and the iPhone 16 range, we expect that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will come with a much improved neural engine to take care of all the generative AI features. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will also be a first to debut iOS 18 with a focus on artificial intelligence features. The new iPhone 16 Pro Max will also support faster Wi-Fi 7 and a more power-efficient 5G modem, keeping you future-proofed on the connectivity front. Let's talk about the camera. As the iPhone 15 Pro Max delivers a host of important camera features, chief among which is the new 120mm telephoto lens, the iPhone 16 Pro Max could finally address one of the forgotten cameras that hasn't recently scored any significant overhauls, the ultra-wide. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo believes that Apple will be introducing a 48-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. When it comes to audio quality, iPhone Pro Max devices are always up there with the best, setting the benchmarks for all other manufacturers to measure up against. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will be no exception. The same generally applies to haptics too. iPhones are arguably the best devices when it comes to haptic feedback, giving us precise and accurate vibrations that are sufficiently strong yet not overpowering. Lastly, battery life and charging. The iPhone 16 Pro Max will reportedly feature a much larger 4,676 mAh battery compared to the 4,422 mAh battery in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Charging-wise, we haven't heard anything about a potential charging speed increase, but we hope to see one on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So far, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is shaping up to be a logical improvement to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, delivering key upgrades in important areas like screen size, performance, AI, and battery life. Thus far, we haven't heard anything particular about a potential price increase, so it's safe to assume that the iPhone 16 Pro Max will start at $1,199 for the 256GB version. Of course, if there's an iPhone 15 Pro Max in your pocket, then you'll probably have few reasons to upgrade to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Stay tuned for more updates on the iPhone 16 Pro Max as we get closer to its release date. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest tech news and reviews. Thanks for watching. Until next time.